Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Fours and Sixes with me, Gomesh. And in this video, we'll be looking at how the Indian players, both the internationals and uncapped, have fared so far in the ongoing edition of the IPL, which is entering the second half, where teams are fighting to secure the place in the top four. And joining me for this episode is Venkata Krishna. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Gomesh.
Let's start with the two big names, Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma. I open the floor to you. Your first thoughts on how they have fared?
Look, let's be honest, they haven't performed up to the mark so far. And more than Rohit Sharma's thing, I think the form of Kohli will be a concern. You see, Rohit in Indian cricket has always been the case. The name captain will automatically be a straight away fit into the 11. But last year, things would have been different. But the indifferent form that Kohli has shown, especially in the T20s, I think that sort of puts him in a tight spot. But I won't say as of now his place is under serious threat. But should the likes of Surya Kumar Yadav, Shreyas Iyer or whoever it is, even Sanju Samson end up having a strong IPL, if Kohli continues his dry patch, I think there will be certain selectors who will start looking at other options. The thing is, Kohli doesn't have that thing anymore, that he is not indispensable anymore. You saw what happened with his captaincy episode, and a lot of things have happened that is really see, when a batsman is going through, every batsman goes through a bad form, and when he's going through, the last thing he would need is some other to be making headlines in some other aspect. And unfortunately for Kohli, he went through a lot of things about the captaincy stint, whether be it about T20 limited overs and then Test cricket. All of it happened so quickly, and then suddenly he was the face of the Indian team, and suddenly now he finds himself he isn't the one. And it's for any human, be it you and me, when you're being the face of something and then suddenly you're not, things tend to yes, everybody goes through that low phase. I think Kohli is going through one. But again, having said that, he's a class player. Nobody expects saying Kohli isn't gonna come fire at all going forward. But this is a time, Ravi Shastri has said, this is a time for him to take a break and stuff. Yes, probably thing is, it's not been easy to in the bubble life at all. It's everyone, even the guys who have been scoring runs, they have felt at some point in time they have been struggling, they felt lonely. And when a batter is going through such a low score of lean patch, you need some company, you need some things to unwind and stuff. Unfortunately, Kohli hasn't got it. But again, he will most likely get a break before the England series. So I think that's what is needed as well. You need to take time off. When he comes back, yes, but there will be questions going forward, definitely. And with regards to Rohit, why a lot of people have been thinking that your guys are not being fair to Rohit Sharma, fair to criticizing Kohli a lot. But see, with Rohit Sharma, thing is he's the captain. Do you think India is going to change a captain 6 months from the World Cup, just having appointed one 6 months back?
Especially when the whole task in itself
it's not going to change at all. So that is where that is the captaincy. Yes, Rohit. There are other openers as well.
Yeah.
But yes.
But do you think because with respect to IPL or in India it's very different, the roles they play. Rohit, for example, hasn't performed really well for an IPL since 2017 or something. Before that, his record is really good, and if you compare the last 5 years, it's not really great in IPL. But when it comes to India, he performs. And even in the Indian T20 team, the role Kohli plays with the kind of players that surround him is very different from what he probably plays for RCB. And the fact that it's in Australia, how much of a factor?
See, you're talking about two cricketers who have made runs in Australia. See, Rohit has a strong pull shot. Nobody plays a pull shot like him in the current game. And then Kohli, again, he is used to the bounce and the pace of Australian wickets. So these both are very crucial. But the problem where we have with the Indian team is when you talk about these guys, the one big criticism of the T20 style that India plays is they have too many anchor guys. See, you have Rohit Sharma with Mumbai Indians, Kohli with RCB. They both play similar roles, but for different franchises. And then you talk about KL Rahul, who's gonna be the opener in all probability in the World Cup. And then you have three players. Yes, so Rahul has shown with the Indian team that he can change gears. He can play a lot more freedom than what he does in the IPL. But you're talking about three players on the similar type. Yeah. And will any IPL team, if you have these three, will they keep the three in the same? That is the thing that is you need to think about it as well. And then, which is why I was thinking maybe somebody Ishan Kishan had a good IPL. He would have started as an opener with KL in the middle order, that would have like even made it even more like.
But it seems like he has a even more leaner pass.
Exactly, that's what like Ishan hasn't taken his chances. There's Sanju Samson. Sanju Samson, like India recalled him for the series against Sri Lanka, hoping that okay for like Rohit Sharma spoke about how his batting would suit the conditions in Australia. Again, like he has done well, but you need to make the huge scores like what Surya Kumar Yadav has been making. And see, Surya Kumar Yadav is the only one probably like has been making like really good scores. So the others, they haven't like done. Even Rishabh Pant included hasn't had such the IPL on fire. Like there have been odd innings. So but again, you're talking about T20 World Cup right now with the IPL. It's like too early as well. But because India will have a few matches, like I have a lot of matches in the lead up to the T20 World Cup, that will help them fix. But from the selectors' point of view, they need to identify the core. I think they have got it, but I think like there are like couple of places which will be like up for discussion in the coming months.
Speaking of lighting up the tournament, Hardik Pandya, we have to mention after the couple of years that he have had, how well he has performed, not just with the bat as well as in his bowling, which has been the question since the 2019 World Cup.
I think like he's gonna like walk into the team if he's like continues to bowl, because like the only thing that was like not getting him into the Indian team was his bowling, his fitness. Now he has sorted it out. Yes, there have been like few niggles here and there. He missed a match. He didn't take the field in the second half of the innings in the previous match. But all said and done, he's definitely he's a unique when it comes to T20. Like we saw what he did when India toured Australia last time. He won matches on his own, 2-6 in the final over. He did it. That's what is see. Like you're talking about Australian wickets, you need players who have like played there before. And Hardik, like you look at the Indian team, you have like loads of talent across the IPL. Like you have beat anyone, like uncapped Indian players are like so many. But is there anyone who capable of doing the role that Hardik does? Like straight away, you need like your batsman walks in the last over. Like you need him to hit 2 sixes straight away, and Hardik is the only one still does that. And that is I mean, again, like to go back to your previous question, find Hardik Pandya who was mastering that role. He's now playing in a different role with Gujarat Titans at number 3 or 4. So basically, even he is like not fitting in the role. Now he is gonna like go to the Indian team again. He's gonna change his role. So I think that is what the role clarity. Yes, it different. The team with Indian team is different. With the IPL is different. So I don't know, which is why I long believe like probably the selectors as well. You need a different set of selectors for the T20. Ones who look at how the global leagues operate, and see, you have like a selection committee in which only one has been part of the any international side, which is Sunil Joshi is the only one who has been part of a dressing room environment in the recent past. Others, they haven't been. So for them, it's very tough actually to judge. Yes, obviously they will like know better things and everything, but you need to crack the T20 things separately, which is why I think like probably like going forward, you should have like a separate thing for T20. You look at other leagues, very Big Bash or the 100 or whatever, the CPL, you know how a thing works. That's when you put together a strong T20 thing. Yes, going forward, I see India having a completely different thing, but probably that will happen after the current World Cup. When I on the next edition, I think they will slightly change. This is what I'm expecting. So, won't be a surprise if the likes of Kohli and Rohit Sharma are like kind of moved on. India moved a lot more. Like, see, these two are like from a different generation altogether, right? You're talking about the guys who made their debuts in
2007, 8.
Yeah. So it's like none of the teams have it. So I think that's what is going to be going forward.
But moving on to the bowling department, obviously batting, it's the same names that keep coming up. But how do you look at the one certainty that is Bumrah, who's without any support in the Mumbai setup, he hasn't picked up wickets. How do you look at the way Bhuvneshwar Kumar has fared so far?
See, Bhuvneshwar, I think with all the pressure of like Deepak Chahar coming up, Deepak Chahar hasn't been around, and we have like Bhuvi like has performed well. There's like less no doubt about it at all. And again, he is also very good at the death, which is like essential. And then the thing with India is like you need bowlers who can take wickets with a new ball.
But he hasn't done that, right? Whether it's with a new ball or like giving an impact performance of sorts, like taking 2-3 wickets.
Like of old, he hasn't, agreed. But
yeah.
Who among the current lot is capable of providing the early breakthroughs? I think when it comes to that, I think selectors will automatically go.
Siraj hasn't really had a good tournament
I don't
yet.
think
Harshal Patel has done well.
India would go look at Siraj in the T20 scheme of things in the coming, at least for the T20 World Cup. So
Prasidh Krishna, Harshal
I think
Patel, they have done
Krishna,
well.
Harshal Patel is one because Harshal Patel is like excellent death over specialist. If nothing, you need backup option as well. See, Natarajan has come back to form. He has been doing good, and then you have like Bumrah, and then when if Hardik is fit, you have another third seam bowling option, fourth seam bowling option is like covered. So India will be like looking at the likes of Bumrah's certainty. You have like Shami is still not certain, Harshal Patel, these guys. I think Natarajan. I think all these guys will come into
The scheme of things.
But again, like I expect India to have like a final squad in place by the time the England to start. I think from then on, I think they will like just have like minor tweaks here and there. I don't think they're going to rotate more and more players. And I'm just interested about how they go about the spin composition, because now they have like Chahal is going to be a sure starter in Australian grounds. Like spinners always like.
I was about to come to that because Chahal's there, Kuldeep's there, Ashwin has played a brilliant support role as well. Rahul Chahal hasn't really done much, but it should be among these three, right? Because given the fact that the conditions as well as the dimension of the grounds, how important the wrist spinner role comes into play.
I think wrist spinners will be like massive, like India, like Kohli. Rohit Sharma too. Kohli liked having wrist spinners in the scheme of things, and then Rohit also he has showed how he likes having Kuldeep back. And then in Australian grounds, I think that they always wrist spinners always have an edge over the finger spinners. So again, like you have Ravindra Jadeja, who's going to be a certainty unless he is injured. So that leaves like the question I was like,
since that you have mentioned how obviously he has the name where his name is a certainty, but how does this numbers reflect, especially with the ball?
Definitely not on the especially with the ball. Like in the recent times, he has looked more and more like a batting all-rounder than a bowling all-rounder than what he was in the earlier stage of his career. I think his bowling is still a concern, but again, like you can't. It all needs is like one just thing for him to come. Yes, he hasn't done well at all in the IPL. There's no two ways about it about Jadeja at all. But he is someone who can like still be bankable to bowl like a tie-up one, and he can still do the job if he's being the second or the third spinner on the team. And then again, his batting any day is a boost. Like you need somebody like him in the middle order. Like apart from being a left-hander, he can like play the role of a finisher as well. He has that experience behind him. So I think, I don't know, like last for the T20 World Cup, India had 4 spinners, but this time I don't see them taking 4 spinners because it's Australia. But so I think again, like Ashwin, it will be very tight on Ashwin as well. Yes, he has been bowling well, but I don't know whether like if just gonna be 3 spinners, I don't know whether India will go with Ashwin or like probably like they might even, it could be between toss-up between Ashwin and Kuldeep Yadav at this stage.
Since we have spent so much on talking about the probables for the World Cup or who could potentially be there, let's move on to the uncapped players. Someone like Kuldeep Sen, someone like Anuj Rawat, Jitesh Sharma. A lot of names have. Aishi Badoni, a lot of names have come up. Who have impressed you so far in this tournament?
Kuldeep Sen has done, and Badoni as well. Like he has been like, that's what the thing about Delhi cricket, isn't it? They keep throwing like new talents here and there. These guys have impressed, but also I'm a little disappointed with how Shah Rukh Khan hasn't done so far. He was like, yes, money factor and all is a different thing, but he's in a team where he could have like contributed a lot more, but it doesn't happen for different reasons. So that is a slight disappointment. Similarly,
Umran Malik, we have to mention.
Yes. Umran Malik is like been like what? Everybody is like, he's the talk of the town with the pace. He definitely is someone who needs to be like groomed. I think he has like Dale Steyn said, like he's learning from the best. So I think that is one bright prospect who's like really gonna. I think among all these guys, I think Umran Malik is the one who's gonna like set in like maybe like play for India in the coming months or something like that. And also I'm really disappointed like with the likes of Sai Kishore not playing in games. Sai Kishore, I thought like he's a really in Gujarat Titans, he has a team who might like play him like more regularly, but that doesn't happen. But
we still have a long way to go. Like each team has 7-8 games.
Like Shabash Ahmed has done well for RCB. He is like looks like a complete package cricketer for T20. He can like bowl like important overs, be it at the power play or in the middle overs, and then even like play that role like with a bat floater role. He's like he seems to have a good head. And we haven't spoken about Dinesh Karthik at all.
Yeah, I was about to come to that. There are a couple of names that we'll finish with. The two extremes, the one in Dinesh Karthik's previous team, Shreyas Iyer, and then there is DK. Obviously, again, we'll have to go back to the World Cup and how they look at that particular opportunity to get to the flight to the Australia. So how they two have performed, if you could sum it up, then we'll probably
from Indian context, I think Shreyas Iyer could have done a lot more. Yes, he has played odd innings here and there, but in a team like KKR where you are like he is the face of it, I think playing at number 3, a role he has been like long, like he likes that role, number 3, and he hasn't like done it really well as expected. So that's where like that puts him in a dicey. Had he like played a superb knock, like talks will be like Shreyas, why not Shreyas at number 3? He has like, that's what you tend to get this opportunity, you need to grab it, which I think Shreyas hasn't done, but it's complete contest to what Dinesh Karthik is doing. Last, like,
he's got out twice or thrice.
Dinesh, yes, but see, leave the dismissal. The way he has, the manner in which he has like taken attack to the, even the match against like Rajasthan Royals, he looked like, which they lost obviously, but he came in and straight away he was trying to take on the best bowler, Yuzvendra Chahal. That's like a show of like confidence on a man who's in like a peak of his power. So yeah, I think India should definitely keep DK in the scheme of things going forward, because he does a role that is like, you come and if he comes in at over number 16, 17, he knows what to do. And the way he has been doing it, I don't think anybody, yes, Hardik Pandya is there, but you need this finisher who can do with whether while batting first or batting. It's not just about hitting, it's like about like how you rotate the strike, how you like know when to attack, when to like take a step back. I think this is what like DK has been doing. So I think he should take the play in Australia for the T20 World Cup. Right.
So while it seemed like we have spoken so much and it seemed like the IPL is already over, but we are still at the halfway stage and there's still almost a month to go. So we will be back probably a couple of weeks from now and see how these players have fared and what lies ahead going forward for them. So that's it for this episode. Thank you for joining. This is Gomesh signing off. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.